Good morning, Veritas. Today is Thursday, June 11th, 2020. I hope everybody had a nice night last night. Let's get started. Please, you should have already completed these three assignments or these three problems in your Google Classroom assignment. So please complete them now before we go over them. If you haven't done so already, we need you to get a little practice with productive struggle. We want you to work through these hard by yourself before you watch this and find out how to solve it. Okay, so here we go with number one. Johanna earned $2,634 mowing lawns last summer. She worked for 21 days in total and made the same amount of money each day. How much money did she make daily? Okay, so now I got my pen. I'm going to go back and annotate. She earned $2,634 last summer mowing lawns. She worked for 21 days in total and made the same amount of money each day. Now that's a clue that's telling me what operation I think I'm going to have to do to solve this. If she makes the same amount of money each day for 21 days, the total amount she made was $2,634. The question says, how much money did she make daily? So how much did she make every day? In one day, how much did she make? So what we're going to do here is we're going to divide the total amount of money that she made, $2,634, and we're going to divide that by the 21 days where she made the same amount of money each day. So we are making 21 equal groups out of $2,634. Okay? The question says, how much money did she make daily? So how much did she make in one day? Right? Or every one of those 21 days. So what we could do here is, like I've been doing, is we're going to make 21 equal groups. So I feel like sometimes kids learn strategies like this and then they will draw out 21 circles. That is going to be a waste of your time. I usually draw this to make you guys understand or to help you to understand why we are dividing. The reason why we're dividing is we're taking this total of money, we're dividing it into 21 equal groups. All right, so if I had 21 equal groups, the division answer we get, the same amount would go into each of those groups, all right? But I think it would be a waste of time to draw 21 of those. I just like to draw them at first to kind of get my head wrapped around it to decide what operation that I need to do. Okay, so if I had 21 groups and I only have 2,000, I can't put 1,000 into each group because there's 21 groups and there's only 2,000. So I can't put any, so that's a 0. I can't put any thousands because if I put 1,000 here and 1,000 here, my thousands are gone. And then I don't have 21 equal groups because these ones would have more than all the others. So now we're going to use our knowledge of place value, and we're going to look at this as 26 hundreds because the 6 is in the hundreds place. Since every place as you move to the left is 10 times bigger, that means the thousands place is 10 times bigger than the hundreds place, right? So this is 2,000 is really 20 hundreds. So now we can look at it as 20 plus these 600s make 26 hundreds. So now, since there's 21 equal groups, we can put 100 into each of those 21 groups. We can only put 100. We can't put 200 because there's not enough hundreds to do 200. We can only put 100. So 1 times 21 is 21. Subtract, we still have 500s that didn't go into those equal groups because 21 of them went into the groups. So that means there's 5 more that didn't. So we're going to use that and we're going to add those to the tens. So these 3 tens, this is 500, but it's the same thing as 50 tens. So now we can look at it as 53 tens. So if we had 53 tens and we were going to break it into 21 groups, we could put 2 tens into each group, or 20. Because 2 times 21 is 42. And when we subtract, we have 11 tens left. And we can't split up 11 tens into these 21 groups. So we're good. Now we're going to keep going. We're going to combine these 11 tens that are left with the ones. So now we have these 11 tens and then 4 ones, or 114 ones. So 114, if we were going to divide that into groups of 21, I'm going to round this to about 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, and then 120 would be too much. So I think it's going to be about 5. So let me check what's 21 times 5 is 105. Okay, so that's going to work out perfectly. We put 5 into each of those groups. 5 times 21 is 105. So we're going to have a remainder of 9. Okay, so our answer is we could put 125 into each one of those groups, but then we have $9 that were left over. Okay, so what we're going to do with this is we can turn it into a decimal or we can turn it into a fraction. So since we're talking about money, money is generally written as a decimal. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're just going to put our decimal point there and there, because remember the 4 was the ones place. So now we can use what we know about the tenths place, which is coming next. So we can put 0 in the tenths place and we can put 0 in the hundredths place. And we're just going to continue our division until we have the amount of change, right? Because it's $125 each day. Now we'll find out how much change there is also, right? How many coins or how much, what decimal of the next dollar that there is. Okay, so now we have this 9 left over, so we're going to bring down this 0. So 9 ones and 0 tenths is really 90 tenths. We've actually learned this quite a bit during place value. So we have now 90 tenths. How many tenths, if we had 21 groups, could we put with 90 tenths? So 20, 40, 60, 80, thinking about 4. So 4 times 21 is 84. When we subtract, we still have 6 tenths that didn't fit. So we were able to put 4 tenths, or 0.4, into each of those 21 groups. And then we still have 6 tenths left. So let's combine it with these hundredths. So there were 0 hundredths, so we can look at this as 60 hundredths. So if we had 60 hundredths, 21 can only go into that 2 times, because 3 times 21 would be 63. It would be a little too much. But we can put 2 hundredths into each of those 21 groups. So 2 times 21 is 42, and when we subtract, we have 18. Okay, and we could continue again, bring a 0 down, bring it down like that. But since we've already gotten to the hundredths place, we're going to leave our answer just like that. $125.42, or 125 4/10 and 2 hundredths go into each of those 21 groups. Okay, so the answer, how much money did she make each day or daily, was $125.42. All right, give yourself some snaps. I know that this was hard. I told you we would do another one like this week where we're going to actually turn it into a decimal. So that's something that you really haven't had a chance to practice except for just once the other day. So hard stuff. Watch that video again if you're a little bit confused about how the tenths and the hundredths worked. But instead of writing 125 and then having the remainder be as a fraction, which I usually have been having you do, we're learning to push that a little further and turn it into a little bit more of an accurate decimal answer here. All right, so nice job. That was tough. Give yourself some snaps. Okay, let's move on to number 2. Write 41,208 and 45 hundredths in decimal expanded form. Okay, so expanded form is when we write out what's the value of each digit. What's the value of all of these digits? And since it's decimal expanded form, we're going to write these as decimals. So I'm going to make sure I don't write it as fraction expanded form. That's the other type of expanded form. Okay, so decimal expanded form, we're going to say that 4, what's the value of this 4? It's in the 10,000s place. It's 40,000. Plus, the value of this is 1 in the thousands place. It's 1,000. Plus a 2 in the hundreds place, 200. Plus, there's a 0 in the tens place, so we can just leave that. We don't have to say plus 0. We can just leave it there. Look at the next one. Plus 8 in the ones place, or 8 ones. Plus, now it's decimal expanded form, so we have to write this as a decimal, which is 0.4. Plus, the last digit is 5 in the hundredths place. So as a decimal, we write it as 0.05. 5 hundredths. So we have 40,000 plus 1,000 plus 200 plus 8 plus 4 tenths plus 5 hundredths. 41,208 and 45 hundredths. 41,208 and 45 hundredths. We have it all. So it has to be exactly like this. These can't be fractions because it wanted us to use decimal expanded form. Give yourself some snaps for that. Nice work. Okay, last one, number 3. Which of the following show a correct comparison? Select 3. So like I always do, I'm going to really bring this to my attention. We are selecting 3. If I select 2 correct ones, then I get no points. You have to get all 3 correct in order to get credit for this problem. So 3.372 is less than 3.381. Let's work from here, the biggest place values, and we'll work towards the smaller place values. So we have 3 ones in both of them. We have 3/10 in both of them. Then we have 7/100, or 8/100. So since they were the same up till this hundredths place, 7/100 is less than 8/100. So this is right, 3.372 is less than 3.381. So A is one of the correct answers. We need 3, so don't get excited now and say, yeah, I got it, because you get 0 points unless you get all 3 of them right. We're going to do the same thing here with this next one. 3 ones, 3 ones, 3/10, 3/10, 7/100, 8/100. But the issue with this is that this is saying that 7/100 is greater than 8/100, which is not correct. 7/100 is less than. This is basically the same problem except with the opposite symbol. So this symbol was correct and this symbol is not correct because 7/100 is less than 8/100, and this says it's greater than. Okay, so let's move on to C. We have 3 ones and 3 ones. We have 3/10 and 3/10. We have 8/100 and 6/100. So this says that 8/100 is less than 6/100, which is not true. 8/100 is greater than 6/100. So we looked from the biggest place value we started, we moved to the smaller places, and then we found one that was not the same. 8/100 is less than 6/100. That's not true. So that one is also incorrect. Let's move on to these last ones. 2 of these are going to be right. Let's find them. Okay, again, we're going to start with the biggest place value, 3 ones and 3 ones, 3/10 and 3/10, 8/100 and 6/100. So let's see, this says that the 8/100 is greater than 6/100. That is correct. 8/100 is more than 6/100. Everything else, those bigger place values, were all the same until we got to that point. So we're just comparing those 2 there. 8 is greater than 6 in the same place value. Okay, so now we got to find one more correct answer. So far we have A and D. Let's look at the biggest place value first. 3 and 3. 3 and 3/10. Good. Then we have 6/100 and 7/100. So this one says that 6/100 is less than 7/100. And that is correct. So we found it. Now, even though I'm pretty confident I found those 3 answers, I'm still going to take 30 more seconds to make sure that this one's not correct and that I didn't mess up somewhere. Okay, so let's look again. Ones place, 3 ones, 3 ones, 3/10, 3/10. 6/100 is greater than 7/100 is what it says. And that, like we just talked about, 6/100 is not greater than 7/100. It's less than. So this symbol should be the other direction. So this one is incorrect. The answer here was A, D, and E. Those were the correct 3. We were supposed to choose 3, so I'm just going to go back and check real carefully. A, D, and E are correct. And that's it. Good job, Veritas. That was hard. Give yourself some snaps. Nice work today. Hope everybody has a great day, and we'll see you later. Bye.